Class of 2019, Superintendent Reshitar, Principal TG, faculty, staff, parents, family, friends, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to give this commencement address. It is truly an honor to be here today as we celebrate the ending of one chapter of these young women and men's lives and the beginning of the next. As I begin, would the parents, step-parents, anyone who helped raise these graduates, please stand. Graduates, I would like you to look at those who are standing, because as much as today is your day, please recognize it's also theirs. They have been on this journey with you, helping you with your homework, taking you to practice, attending your events, assisting you with school projects that you told them about the night before they were due. They put up with your garbage when you were less than charming. They wiped your tears when you were upset, lent an ear when you needed to vent, cheered when you succeeded. When you have a moment tonight, graduates, please take time to thank them for all that they did for you. They weren't perfect parents. None of us are. We aren't here to win any popularity contests or to be your friend. We're here to guide you, to prepare you, to equip you for this day, a day when you will leave high school and start on your journey as adults, responsible for making good choices, good decisions, and being productive members of society. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd also like to recognize Mr. Jerry Reshitar. Many of you don't know this, but Mr. Reshitar was my high school gym teacher. Is it okay if I share a story about Mr. Reshitar? It was my sophomore year, and Mr. Reshitar was dividing up the class into teams to play ping pong. Suddenly he yelled, "Eric Shoars, Jane Yanger!" And I was immediately panicked because Jane had a twin sister and I couldn't tell them apart. And they're seated next to each other on the gym stage, and I just stood there frozen, not wanting to offend my ping pong partner by moving toward her sister if I selected the wrong twin. Sensing my dilemma, Mr. Reshitar announced, "June is the good-looking one." Her twin exclaimed, "Hey!" And my partner identified herself to me. So the moral of the story is that if you face an uncertain choice, pause, survey the situation. Sometimes the correct answer will present itself. What I didn't realize about PE class until years later after graduation were the life lessons Mr. Reshitar was imparting. You see, Mr. Reshitar's job was teaching PE, but his mission was to prepare us for life. Mr. Reshitar, thank you for all that you taught me, for caring enough about what we would encounter long after we were no longer your students. It is my hope that what I say here today honors what you did all those years ago. Class of 2019, May 18th, 1986 remains one of the happiest days of my life. It's the day I graduated high school. Who the commencement speaker was that day is beyond me. What he talked about has long since been forgotten. But I do remember one thing, and it made me angry at him. He announced to us, "You are our future." And instinctively, I knew he was wrong. You see, someone the year before, standing in a position much like this, said the same words or something like them to the class ahead of us, and someone standing in this position or something like it was going to say the same thing to the class behind us next year. It was as though he was leading us to believe we were so special that magically every other class that ever graduated before us was going to get out of our way and let us do anything that we wanted and stop pursuing their dreams, goals, ambitions, seemingly letting us do whatever we wanted because we were the chosen ones. And that's not the way life works. Once you're out of high school, you're competing with all who graduated before you on the path to achievement, and no one is giving an inch. If you want something in this life, you're going to have to roll up your sleeves and get after it. I sat amongst my classmates and said to myself, if I ever get the chance to give a commencement address, I'm going to right this wrong. I am going to tell graduates the truth. This speech has been 33 years and 6 days in the making. And what I've been waiting to tell you all these years is this. Class of 19, you are not the future. Unless you choose to be part of it, to take an active role in it. And that is what I want to do today, is to equip you for that. The first thing that you need to do is get to know yourselves. You have identities, knowledge, beliefs, and opinions that have been shaped by your parents and other adults around you. You were brought up on their worldview, work ethic, belief systems, and they made decisions for you, from brands of food, detergents, clothes, perhaps even underwear. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of our role as parents to prepare you for life. But now you get to make those choices, those decisions. You get to find out what you believe and why. What you like and why. This time of self-discovery is a gift. If you take the time to embrace it, to not rush the process. And please do this before you decide to get married. Once you get married, you no longer have the option to focus on you, to be selfish. Marriage is about two people becoming one. So make sure you have your poop in a group before you say I do. And always remember, you are not responsible for another person's happiness, and they are not responsible for yours. My wife, Julie, will look at me and say, you make me. I tell her, no, I bring you joy. You choose your mood. You decide. If you look to others to make you happy, you will never be happy. The second thing you need to do is recognize your uniqueness and how you can take advantage of what the world offers, but not to do it alone. What we know about your generation is that you seek collaboration and mentoring. You seek answers to questions in ways that are different than the generations before you. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. When my generation and older were growing up, we were asked by adults, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? We'd say things like doctors, firefighters, police officers, farmers, carpenters, scientists, astronauts, professional athletes, or CEOs. These questions, though, are largely meaningless to you. But if we ask you what problem do you want to solve, you can offer an immediate answer. Once we know what the problem you want to solve is, we can help show you that path to solve that problem. For example, if you want to bring clean water to Africa, you might want to study mechanical engineering. And always remember, nearly all progress in human history has been in the pursuit of solving problems. Never lose that drive to solve problems. It is a powerful drive. When we among the older generations understand what drives you, we can better know how to help. But being understood can be a problem, right? Being children of both parents working or of a single parent, largely being left unsupervised, left to your own devices, and grouping in packs of your peers, being gamers in a world of mobile phones, social networks, 24-hour news channels, time-shifted television viewing, listening to music on a device attached to one's body, some days feeling like world annihilation is coming closer each day, and being called slackers by generations before you. Oh wait, no. You didn't get called slackers. My generation did. We were the first latchkey kids. We gamed on Ataris, experienced the birth of the first mobile phones, watched CNN, had the first VCRs, had Walkmans, had social networks like Friendster, and were anxious that America and the Soviet Union would destroy the world in a rain of nuclear fire. And as a generation, we were written off as soft, unambitious, and lazy. Sound familiar, snowflakes? To my fellow Generation Xers, today's generation is more like us than unlike us. We know how these young men and women feel because we were them 30 years ago. They want to collaborate, to be mentored. I can think of no better generation than ours in helping these future leaders, in helping guide me and guiding to make the world a better place. To the class of 2019, I invite you to seek out Gen X and remind them we are very much alike. And when we ask you to go outside your comfort zone, do it. Finally, if you want to be part of the future, realize you don't have to go far to have a positive impact on people's lives. In 2012, my wife Julie and I went on a mission trip to Haiti. This was a couple of years after the massive earthquake that devastated the island. Coming alongside the Haitian people in relationship and experiencing what their lives were like on a day-to-day basis made an incredible impact on me. Upon returning home, my wife and I discussed taking the mission trip every year. Now, a friend of ours didn't want to discourage us from doing so, but she pointed out, the mission field is here. In the Austin Public School District, over 50 languages are spoken. In Rochester, over 60. I'm not going to get into the politics of refugees and immigration, but what I'm saying is we don't have to go across the world to change it. Just go across the street. Pick a mission field and get involved. One of my mission fields is fighting sex trafficking. I am president of the board of directors of Mission 21 in Rochester, which is a recovery and restoration organization to help survivors of sex trafficking. When you get into the mission field, what you need to take to heart is this. You're not going to solve hunger. You're not going to solve poverty or other problems in the world. I am not going to solve the scourge that is modern-day slavery known as sex trafficking. But can I solve the problem for the rescued in our area? You bet. You bet. Help solve the problem for the person in front of you, and the next, and the next. That you and all of us can do. And if you ever see something that disturbs you and you say, somebody ought to do something, you're correct. But don't go on social media and tell people to do something. The somebody you look at in the mirror each day just volunteered for the job. So go do it, and bring friends. As we bring the speech in for landing, I want to make it clear that the rest of your lives will not always be sunshine and roses. In between the successes and the heartbreak, between the successes and the celebrations, there will be heartbreak, there will be difficult times, and there will be disappointment. I'm here to tell you, class of 2019, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're going to get knocked on your butts plenty. We all have. It's part of how you learn, how you grow, how you find out how strong you are. Find out where your limits are. How can you know where your limits are if you never test them? The sad truth is that most people place limits on themselves far short of where their limits truly lie. And don't ever be afraid to fail. Failing only means you tried something and it didn't work. Failure is a great teacher. I have failed spectacularly in my life. And sometimes I just laughed and said, oh, that didn't work. But then I moved on. But I learned. And no matter how old you are, it's never too late to try something new. I didn't get my bachelor's degree until I was 31. Now, as you know, once I got my BA, I kept going, and now I have more degrees than a thermometer. But it was tough. You have no idea what I went through, but I did it, and I'm better for it. My wife, Julie, didn't get her bachelor's degree until she was 52. Like I just told you her age. She started a brand new career in a field she'd never been in because she wanted to help kids. It was difficult, and I know this. Because I watched how hard she worked, how she sacrificed, how she pushed through so many obstacles. And you're an inspiration, and I am so proud of you. And never be afraid to cry. Don't cheat yourselves out of amazing experiences by saying it's too late. What I would ask you to do for me is simply this. Promise you'll get up one more time and you are not dead. Remember that the only people who never get knocked on their butts are the only ones who never get off of theirs. Class of 2019, I wish you nothing but the best. Go forth in purpose and with determination. Be bold. You are the future if you choose to be part of it, if you choose to act. So go. Change the world.